lot of thoughts this week, crying. Today feels like Saturday or Tuesday. It feels like the 9th day of the week. It feels like we made up new days in the week. That's how exhausted I am. Like, it feels like I'm on the 9th day of the week, and the week's now 10 days. And we invented, like, this guy had an executive order that said, now I'm going to invent 3 new days for the week. They're going to be Sunday and Friday and Tuesday. It's like, that's how exhausted I am. From fighting the good fight, looking for a job at 48 years old, trying to sell a book I'm not making a dime on until September, and everything else I go through. That really is nothing compared to what most of this country's going through, while holding the country up and then being deported and raided and attacked and then lied to about all that. So my thoughts were this. A couple things this way. So I was like, I'm part Italian. Part of me, proud to be Italian. Part of me fucking hates Italians because of how I feel about the history of Italians, the mafia, and this guy called Mussolini, and so forth and so on. And my question is, you know, imagine if for the last year, from the boot of Italy, to Gardenia, to Rome, to Naples, I'm Napolitan, to Venice. Imagine for the last year, the entire boot of Italy was eradicated by the U.S. Army and some other fucker, and we said we're killing off all thousands of Italians there because the mafia is such a big problem. And now imagine how Italians would feel if today or this week that Trump got up and said, no Italians can ever go back to Italy. I'm going to buy it all. I'm going to make hotels, and the Italians have to go somewhere else to find a place to go. Like, I'm very curious about how Italians and Italian Americans would feel about that. But the problem is, it's about Palestinians, and it's about Arabs. And the bigger picture, and why they don't want you to know about Black History Month either, is that America is racist! Always has been, always will. And what's happened is, a part of a long-standing plan, going it back to Obama, read a book called Dark Money with the Koch brothers, that this long-standing plan has always been to get the top, most, richest racists into power so they can start destroying anything that stops them from being racist. And Black History Month is basically the Bible that says, whitey sucks. And that's why they don't want you to know about Black History Month. That's why I'm hearing from teachers now, they can't even report and talk about these things, which again is a form of fascism and a dictatorship. And a lot of people that I'm friends with on both sides don't want to hear these things. They're starting to drink the Kool-Aid. Oh, maybe he's cleaning it up. We got to get rid of some of this stuff. You know, it's not working. It's like, no. It'd be great if some guy was coming in and say, we're not going to have this anymore, but I'm replacing him with this, and I got a plan. This guy's plan is nothing but the extermination of due process and laws and protections for anyone in this country that isn't white. That's the bottom line. And 426 years ago, around 1600, the whites started coming to fucking Jamestown. And what happened was they lost a couple people in something called Roanoke. And maybe it was the Croatan or Creighton Indians. They didn't know. So the queens and the kings sent the whiteys back to Jamestown. And when they got there, what did they start to do? These are all facts. Governor War, a bunch of other governors, started shooting the fucking babies through the head. And when they came to a young teenage girl named Pocahontas, who wasn't really her full name, what did they do? They set her up at a wedding one night, and they got her on a boat, and they raped her, and they kidnapped her. And then they brought her back to England, and they turned her into Queen Rebecca, so that no one would know about the roots of the appropriation and the destruction of our true racial ethnic identity. That is what they did. And then, a couple hundred years later, a bunch of assholes turned into a fucking Disney movie with some jerk-off raccoons singing, and it makes all the white people look like heroes, which is the only way people want their history in this country. Whitey's got to be the fucking hero. But Whitey's not the hero. He never has been, and he never really will be. And that is the God's honest truth that I'm seeing a lot of my other friends, even of a liberal ideology, don't really get. And the problem is, and I'll wrap it up in this to say, that almost no one I know in my life, very few people, have ever had to be on that food stamp line in their 30s to their 40s. A lot of people I know, most people I'd say, have never known that feeling after doing nothing wrong. No addiction, no alcoholic dependency, giving their all 24/7 for their careers, their dreams. They've never known that feeling to walk in there and be a fucking number. And be a number that you wait 3 to 4 hours to see if you can get enough of a stipend to buy the shittiest fucking version of produce and groceries available for you to oftentimes less than $300 allotted to you a month. So, you know, I think that is really where the borderline is between me and most of the people in my life right now, is not knowing that struggle. And I really mean the white people that I know in my life right now. They have not known how it feels to be a number, not to be able to wave the white flag of white privilege and entitlement. And that's why they look at things happening here and they say, don't care, don't care. And they're only going to care until the Amazon doesn't show up anymore. And they aren't going to care until there's no produce, because the migrant farmers, they haven't gotten the H2N1 or H1, whatever visa is transferred over. And, you know, when they don't have that fresh food at their Whole Foods and their fucking produce department, and when they don't get the fucking service when they go out for their lattes and their bullshit, that's when they might feel a little bit. But the fact is, sadly, most people really never know, like, that struggle. And I don't even know the struggle as much as so many people in this country, African Americans, ethnic groups. And, you know, like I said, if you ever turned the lens on yourself and said, what if it was my people having this happen to me for 100 years, for the last year? I'm really wondering what kind of reactions we come up with. And because I think right now the reaction I'm seeing is pretty pathetic from too many people in this country. And I'm thankful for all these people fighting in due process, diplomacy, democratic process. But I've had it, and I think it's going to be a lonely road. I think it's going to be a lonely road. And hey, at the end of the day, I'd rather have a lot of women in my life over a lot of guys. So have fun, everyone.